Hey, welcome back, Rankers. How you going? I'm back from holidays. First time out of the state in 4 years. And what a day to be doing the show in Victoria. Very happy for me. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about this story that I came to when I got back because it, it there's a standing joke with agencies in the industry about Google representatives calling you up to help you with your clients' campaigns. And if you do Google ads, maybe you've had one of these phone calls yourself. The standing joke is simply that the advice that will come out of Google is typically maximize your clicks and increase your budget. And it will always make more money for Google. There's no guarantee you're going to make more money, though, just so you know. And to be fair, that sort of advice typically will come from people not working out of Google Australia. The ones that we've spoken to that have worked out of Google Australia, the one I have spoken to, great advice. Hey, Louis. Um, but typically, they might have different incentives if they're not working or if they're contracted, which a lot of these reps are. So just be careful when you take that advice because we've seen some clients lose money and sales because they've taken Google's advice. And Google's got that perspective in our experience when the reps contact you. And when I see an article about a US Senate hearing talking about is Google a monopoly when it comes to search, and one of the people who had to give testimony was the Vice President of Advertising Products, Jerry Dishler. And he basically said things like, they had to shake the cushion sometimes to make sure they achieve budget. But what this is saying is that the Justice Department of the US is saying that Google's a monopoly, or that's what they're alleging or maintained. And stories like this don't help, basically. So just be aware. That's why we switched to a revenue model, because it just makes much more sense from a retailer's perspective, or even a lead gen model, rather than ranking traffic, all these sorts of things. Because let's not forget, as I've said before, in Google Search Console, which is the most important SEO tool that we have, and that is why Gulam, who's been with us for 7 years this year, got the job, because that's what he told me when I asked him what's the most important tool for SEO 7 years ago, and he said Google Search Console. It just so happens it's also great for finding out what happens to the Google Ad Spot, because it's the only place you can find it. So SEO for us basically is fundamental, and it supports advertising, and it supports social, and it supports organic. And SEO, shopper experience optimization, is what you should be looking at. You shouldn't be looking at search engines. You should know how the search engines find your site and what they display to your shoppers. That's what you should be focusing on. Should be focusing on are the search engines showing the right messages and the right products to my shoppers. And that's kind of what we do with the SEO stuff. It's about making sure the shopping experience is optimized across all the channels, from the search results right through. And when you see stories like this, it makes you stop, pause, and go, you know what? Make sure you have real goals set in place, understand what you're spending on, and if you do go and if you are one of those people who wants to click those recommendations and apply them in your Google Ads account, just be clear and have an understanding of what that means, because quite often it might not be the outcome that you were hoping for. And as we move into a world where search is getting fractured with AI tools, and we'll have more about that in the coming weeks. And yes, I have built my smart assistant, and yes, I do talk to it every day, and yes, it is a leadership coach and a business coach, and yes, it's awesome. But more about that later on. Hopefully that's helpful. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But head across to stuartmedia.com.au, get an email, because we've got some great stuff coming out, and you don't want to miss out on that. Thanks very much. Bye.